The basic movements of chess are, we're going to start out with the most simple, which is your pawn. Your pawns traditionally move one space at a time and then attack at the diagonals.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
The special rules about pawns is that they have, if they are starting on your front line, they can move out 2 spaces instead of 1.
Okay.
If they get all the way to your opponent's back line, then you can turn them into any other piece. For example, I could get a second queen like that. Or they have a special attack or a special vulnerability, I should say. So for example, if you had a pawn here and I moved out 2 spaces, if I used their double move off the line, you can do what's called an en passant, where your pawn moves here and you take my pawn. Okay, so they have 3 special moves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. The second piece is the rook. The rook moves in straight lines, so it controls horizontal and vertical spaces, and it can move as far as it wants in any one turn until it collides with something else, and it attacks in those vectors as well. Okay?
Okay.
The bishop is a lot like the knight, but it moves on the diagonals. So you have your white bishop and your black bishop, and your white bishop can never move off of white tiles because it can only move in diagonals like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And same thing with the black bishop, but the black bishop is confined to black tiles. Knights are the most complicated, I would say, because they move in L's. So basically they go 2 in one direction and then 1 in any other direction. So 2 over, 1 up, or 2 down, 1 over, 2 over, 1 up. And they are able to jump over pieces, but they only threaten the pieces that they would end on. So for example, if my knight is right there, the places that he threatens are this space, this space, this space, this space, this space, and this space. You understand?
Okay, yes.
And so even if I have a pawn there and there, I can still jump over this pawn and attack that space. Okay?
Got it.
Last of your major pieces is the queen. The queen controls the board. Meaning she's basically a combination of a rook and a bishop, where she can move horizontally and vertically just like a rook, but also diagonally like a bishop. Okay, so the queen is the most powerful piece. She can move over here, and then move up there, and then move down there, and then over there. And so she is extremely powerful and controls the board. And your last piece is the king. The king is who you're trying to protect for the whole game, and you're trying to capture your opponent's king. The king can only move 1 space at a time in any direction and threatens all of the spaces around him. Special things with the king is that he cannot move into a threatened area. So for example, if you had your pawn there and my king was here, since your pawn is threatening these 2 white spaces, hey Anya, do you want to play chess too? I cannot move my king there, and I cannot move him into check. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Then the goal of the game is to get my king in check, which means you're threatening him, and then I have no way to get out of check. So for example, hypothetically, say I had my king was there, you had a pawn there, and then you moved your queen, say, from over here to right here, right?
Okay.
So here you're check, which is because your queen is threatening my king, but my king can't go